The more things change, the more they remain the same, and other stories making headlines then. All right, away from that, we take you back to a story that we ran from Parliament. We were asking you tonight if it's okay that the absconding chairpersons and their deputies be penalized by the ruling party for missing the House leadership. Should they be punished for missing the House sessions as a way of instilling discipline? Continue sending your yes or no answer to the toll-free number 22151. Beginning with a yes or no answer, and of course, follow with a brief comment. We'll be sampling some of them. Tag us on X at Ken Mijungu, at KTN News, and the hashtag is NewsHour. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming tonight. Asanteni-san. Let's begin with the politics. I think we are done with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris.
Yeah, let's not go there, because
this gentleman keeps on smiling.
He will not stop praising Donald J. Trump. So let's not go there.
Okay, so gentlemen, am I reading too much if I would say today? All right, let me begin from Parliament. What happened today? Kimani Ichung'wah seems to be very agitated. First, committee chairs and their deputies were not in Parliament. Secondly, he says, impeach them. It's important that they attend. What changed suddenly that committee chairs? Is the first time in 2 years that Ichung'wah is complaining about. And you're presiding. When I spoke to you, you were presiding. So you're presiding an empty assembly.
Yes, so Ken, the fact of the matter is that I'm in the leadership of Parliament. I'm in the what we call the Speaker's panel.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I'm a presiding officer in Parliament. That enables me to engage other leaders of Parliament in terms of how Parliament can effectively run. 2 weeks ago, the entire parliamentary leadership was somewhere in Naivasha on a retreat. And among the things we retreated to discuss was performance of the leadership team in the current Parliament, House attendance, including quorum. You'd be wrong to say that this is something being mentioned now.
Yeah.
Because I've seen various media, indicate, today Parliament did not start in time because of
no quorum. Yeah.
Okay?
There was no 50 members.
Yes, 50 members.
The quorum is 50.
And this is happening when, if you had just the chairs of the committees
alone,
together with their vice chairs, you have enough quorum to transact business. And so when we were in Naivasha, we said, really, we want government business within Parliament
not
to be taken seriously.
Okay.
And so I just want to assure you that it is not isolated what the majority leader Kimani Ichung'wah was saying today. It's just that Kenyans like reading too much politics into it. If you watched the proceedings this entire afternoon when I was proceeding, I know you couldn't because you are engaged in other things. But a number of motions on the order paper which needed was scheduled to be transacted. I had to step them down and defer them into the future.
Because
the chairs of committees who should be moving them are not in the House. And this is what Ichung'wah, as a majority leader, was emphasizing. They can tell you it is not the first time he's saying so.
Yeah.
So this is a general call,
yeah,
not about political realignments or thoughts that there should be changes. But we are saying, if you are privileged to chair a committee, if you are privileged to be a leader in Parliament at any level, imagine it were me.
Yeah.
Today we were dealing with the long-awaited bill around Kenya Drugs Authority. Just been going for over 2 years, in fact over 1.5 years now. And we reached a level where we were saying we need numbers to pass it.
And
imagine, our speaker is out of the country,
yes,
on parliamentary duties. Imagine then Kaluma, as the presiding officer who should preside, is being called and is not there. What does it do to Parliament?
But Kaluma,
and what is the impact to the society when we delay such laws? So this is a general call.
Kaluma, it's
nothing
not
political.
Too remote to contemplate right now that changes are possible in the National Assembly, especially in the leadership. Is it too remote?
Yeah, changes normally occur. In fact, it is not just out of performance. But I can tell you, remember somebody like the current cabinet secretary in charge of Treasury, John Badi, was chairing a Public Accounts Committee. We don't have a substantive chair still.
As yet, yeah.
Yeah, it's normal that various situations would come up.
Okay.
That would necessitate changes as people go. But for the better and efficient, running of parliament.
Let me go to Wakili.
Yeah.
Wakili, am I reading too much? I'm thinking Ishungwa was setting ground to qualify calls to change the House leadership.
Ken,
am I reading too much?
No, you are not reading too much, rightfully so. But let me begin by recalling what the head of state said one time during a cabinet session, including PSs were there. And he told them to their faces that I know more than some of you do in your respective ministries and portfolios. We see the president working almost 24 hours.
A lonely president.
A lonely president. He just divulged that fact recently.
Yes.
Ken, it is not only immoral, it is fraudulent for MPs who work very few days in a week compared to other Kenyans, for MPs who have so many perks, which are carried on the backs and shoulders of Kenyans, who are chairpersons of committees, to abscond from committee sessions. It is not only immoral, it is plain bad manners. And therefore, if the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah is contemplating impeaching them, whatever time he has, for me, those kind of leaders do not deserve to be in that house. For a simple reason, that we need our leaders to lead from the front. If Peter here is sitting in that particular chair because the Honorable Wetangula is not in, assuming he did not show up, that would mean that there will be no business. And Ken, what it means is this, that when there is a motion on the order paper, it's a process. And the move of the motion is supposed to be there because it is him who has actually processed this motion. He's supposed to present it.
And yet he's not in parliament.
And he's not in parliament. What manners are those? And therefore, in my view, since the broom has begun from up there,
from the top,
it is in order that that broom descends down.
And sweeps
the
across.
The president is working too much alone, and it's high time that members of parliament go to understand that we all need to do the heavy lifting. Finally, Ken,
yes,
all these members are in political parties. By the way, it's very easy to deal with them. And ODM has shown, for example,
it's possible
that you don't fool around. And Kenya Kwanza ought to call its house in order, because we cannot have a president who is so hectic and relentless from one corner of the country to another, from one corner of the globe to another, but at home there are fellows whose only active moments is when they are in Lake Naivasha Resort or they are in Diani.
With Peter Kaluma.
That is fraudulent.
Tell me something.
That is fraudulent.
I understand the frustration. Don't you think it could also well be a setup for the removal of Rigathi Gachagwa's supporters? And why are you forgetting the fact that you're calling on Kenya Kwanza to reorganize their house, and yet it's divided right across? It's divided right in the middle because of the presidency and the impeachment of Gachagua. Is that possible? Could that be the reason that members of parliament suddenly are not as active as we would expect them to be?
All reasons are probability. What is happening in Kenya Kwanza is part of the forming and storming. The most unlikely occurrence took place when Honorable Peter Kaluma's party, ODM, came to work with the head of state, joined the ANC, joined the Ford Kenya, and we are all in one basket. What must follow now is a realignment with a strategic plan to deliver what it is that the president promised the nation. Remember, the president and his team have survived a near revolution in this country. At one time, the president was very lonely up there. Did you realize that most of the people who have been around the president, who have been showing so much that they have, literally took off and left the president alone in this city?
June.
In June?
Okay.
Therefore, there can be no excuse for not whipping everybody in line.
Okay.
And thank you.
Excuse for bad manners. But what did you call unfortunate joining, working with Kenya Kwanza? What did you say?
No, it was fortunate.
Yeah. Fortunate.
It is fortunate because the nation
Yeah.
requires all of us.
Okay.
All hands on deck.
Okay. He's here. He can answer. He's the biggest supporter of the
I can tell you,
bread-based government.
I like the passion of Brother Muhwana. What both of you learned friends miss is how Parliament works.
Okay.
The leadership of committees is not a matter for Kenya Kwanza and our standing orders.
Mm-hmm.
All committee chairs and vice chairs are elected, and anybody can seek election.
But they're nominated by the parties, Kaluma.
No.
Kaluma, they're nominated by parties.
No.
What do you mean? Babu Owino tried to be the he wanted to be the chair of PAC. The party declined.
Now let me tell you.
Yes. And
there is a time you remember John Mbadi was nominated.
Yes.
To chair PAC.
Yes.
Did he chair?
They gave another
because
candidate.
The party may nominate you.
Yes.
But ultimately, all members of the committee who are composed under the standing orders sit to elect.
And it's because those members...
Yeah.
And that you remember is the time when Honorable Gumbo.
Engineer.
Actually, Engineer Gumbo defeated Mbadi, who was our nominee. I don't know whether you remember.
I remember.
It has happened times without number. The party, of course, may propose that let Kaluma chair this body or this committee. But it is upon Kaluma to then...
to whip the members to vote for him.
Not to whip, but to persuade the other members.
Oh, the committee members now.
Yes, the committee members, because it is an election presided over by the clerk. It's a serious election. I know you've been in parliament severally. You've actually reported on some of them. So the party...
But it looks like a political compromise, right? Wakili, the gentleman on my left is not being truthful tonight.
Ken, you want me to give you another example? In the last parliament, my brother Moses Kajwang chaired the Public Accounts Committee, the Devolution Committee of the Senate.
Yes.
He was not the nominee of the party. Is a member sitting and saying, for our good leadership and for us to execute this matter best, we will go for Moses.
Would you, let me ask the question in a different way. Yeah. Would anyone from the party come and claim election? Majority. Is it possible?
You see, first
timers?
Yes, first you must be a member
of that committee.
Of the committee.
Yes.
So election of members who become then the first among equals are for the members of the committee there. And by the way, you remember reporting on several occasions, committees sitting on their own to de-whip a member or the chair or the vice chair is very rampant on some occasions. I don't know whether you remember that time we disbanded
Babu Namwamba,
PSA. Babu Namwamba Public Accounts Committee.
Yes.
We then disbanded budget, the whole budget and appropriations committee. So I can tell you that whatever you are saying misses the workings of parliament when you attribute it to
by a small yard though.
We have nothing to do with Gachagua in this. Gachagua, suffered his fate in a parliamentary process. We would not go for any other member of parliament on issues other than those that concern the proper running and efficient running of the committee. But let me agree with Muhwana that, look, I would not say we are paid so much, but chairs and vice chairs of committee are privileged. There is something they earn more than an ordinary chair.
In terms of allowances?
Yes. I would not say that a member of parliament does as little as Muhwana is saying here. In fact, members of parliament, contrary to the thinking that they only go to parliament, Ken, today in the morning...
That's for legislation.
That's only legislation.
Ken, allow me to... It was in context. Don't generalize. Because we were responding to a context which had been raised.
But I'm giving you the other range of MPs' work, which we are not talking about. When you tell Kenyans...
he spoke in terms of time.
No, when you tell Kenyans that you are in parliament just...
Tuesday afternoon to Thursday afternoon.
Yes. Let me tell you, today in the morning, if the CS in charge of energy, the Honorable Wandai were not engaged somewhere, I was to have a meeting with him at 8, which meeting would take me as the MP for Homa Bay to have with him to secure the electrification I need. So members of parliament are in offices. They are representing the people. They are addressing issues of concern to their people. They have oversight roles. There is a lot, to be done. That is not to say that when you are privileged to chair a committee, you can be absent in a manner that disables the efficient running of parliament. And it's a very serious thing. If you look at even today, we were to end parliament at 9 o'clock.
PM?
But we had, yes, PM is when we end on Wednesday. Mwana does not know. But you noted we adjourned early. Why did we adjourn early?
Quorum again.
We are adjourning early.
Why assuming
because of quorum.
You are here.
And you know why we are talking why we are talking about quorum? Even if you just got members of the committee whose business is being transacted with a few chairs, you have enough to engage in these issues so that we don't have laws which are being passed, Ken,
then the question
is nullified by the court.
Peter, I need to ask you this then before you go to him.
Yes.
Then why are you absent? Why are people absent? If they know this is a fundamental thing, they originated the business of the house for that day, why are they still absent? The question then is, why are they absent?
That is the question Kimani Ichung'wah was asking.
Did you get an answer?
That is the reminder
Yes.
Kimani is giving them to tell them whatsoever other roles you have as an MP.
You must be here.
When we have business in parliament, don't be absent as a leader with your members in a manner that disables parliament from doing its business.
Ken, to whom so much is given,
so much is expected.
Yes, so much is expected. Yeah.
And Wakili Mheshimiwa here, he's doing the right thing. You must protect your own. Because after these meetings...
He has a cheeky smile.
Yeah, he has it. Because after this show, you can be sure that even before he reaches the
WhatsApp group,
they'll be asking, what the hell is your problem that you can talk like that about us? So I understand his position. But there is no way you can say, Mheshimiwa, 395, how many are we in parliament?
349. That's a secondary school.
Yeah, 300. Thank you.
349 plus the speaker, 350.
Yeah.
So in the National Assembly.
Thank you. So 350 members. Not being able to raise 50 members. What excuse would you have for Kenyans? I mean, what excuse would you have?
These guys are busy. That's the excuse.
Thank you. He says they're doing so many other things.
Yes, they are busy.
And therefore, this quorum is not part of their business. Yet
someone agrees with Ichung'wah.
Yes. I think that people should go to parliament.
People should go.
Yes.
Or if you are in leadership, we get a person who can serve parliament better.
That's what I said.
Yeah. Okay.
That is not right that you should be in leadership and not fulfill your responsibilities.
Yeah.
You have a privilege and honor to serve.
Wakili, what does it take for them to be removed from these committees? What will it take?
Well, now that he said I do not know what transpires in the committees, what will it take to remove?
So to remove, it is never, the work of Ichung'wah. Ichung'wah was raising a concern as a majority leader. And by the way, majority leader is not a leader of one side of parliament.
It's the whole.
Remember, we are in a presidential system.
Yeah.
So a leader on either side is a leader of the whole. The majority leader actually in the ranking of parliament comes before the deputy speaker. I don't know whether you know that. He's a leader of the whole.
No, we know.
So he was speaking as a leader
of the
House
Assembly
as a whole.
Okay.
What I wanted to disagree with Mhwana on is, he's saying that ODM has joined, government. Okay. And I think that one I would not, forgive my brother for. We are all lawyers seated on this table. All Kenyans are in government. But the Constitution says Kenya is a multi-party democratic state. We are all in government, but we are in different political parties. So this thing we keep singing to some people, you are in opposition, you now joined government, you are in government, therefore you are entitled to resources more than the others. It's wrong. These are the things we need to address in the context of our current constitution. So ODM has not joined government.
When did you see the light?
ODM has always been in government, but ODM members are in the Orange Democratic Party, not in the UDA.
Within the government.
Within the government.
But I just think you're just changing this narrative
to
suit your
Ken,
position.
you're a lawyer.
No.
Ken, you're a lawyer.
Peter, I have interviewed you before.
We are lawyers.
When did you see the light?
Mheshimiwa has become very...
I'm a lawyer, unless you're saying there is a time I was a lesser lawyer. Because all Kenyans truly are in government, and that is why all Kenyans are taxed. All Kenyans are entitled to services. But Kenya is a multi-party democratic state.
Look,
people are in their individual parties.
Okay,
we
need to take a break, but let me give you an opportunity.
Mheshimiwa has adopted a lot of sophistry tonight, and I do not know why. Because I did not say that ODM has joined Kenya Kwanza. I simply say that ODM has joined government. I didn't say that the political party ODM has joined the political party UDA.
Has joined is the problem. ODM is always in government. Well, it is a party funded by you taxpayers. It is a party in government always. That's what people don't understand. And so, can you get people saying, why is an opposition party in? Do Kenyans know we have nothing called opposition in our current constitutional arrangement? There is none. Parliament is a unit of oversight.
You cut Wakili short.
You want us to go for a break first?
No. Finish, then I can go for a break. Yeah.
When we say that ODM is government, what we are saying is that members of ODM, because ODM is not a person, ODM is a political party, but it's populated by members of parliament and leaders in that particular party. When leaders of ODM, ANC, Kenya, for Kenya, join government, they're appointed as officials of government. The right terminology is that they have joined government. But that does not mean that they have dissolved or they are no longer now ODM. But be that as it may, what we all understand is that all Kenyans have a right to be served by government because we are one nation. Okay. And therefore, that does not in any way delineate my argument that ODM has joined government.
30 seconds, yes. We take a break.
When we come from the break, because 30 seconds is not enough,
okay.
One, I would want you to read for Kenyans Article 232 of the Constitution.
I have it here. Constitution tonight.
All right. You need to open it.
I have it.
So that you dismiss this statement you are making.
That you have joined government.
That some members of ODM being appointed to government means ODM has joined government. ODM is always in government.
Consistently, they have denied this, and because you're a member of the party.
No, I'm a lawyer. You're a lawyer, you know I'm right then, isn't it?
232 is public finance.
No. 232 is not public finance.
Public service.
It should be values of public service. Yes. Read Sabbatical 1.
Sabbatical 1.
G, H and I.
GH. Subject to paragraphs H and I, fair competition and merit as the basis of appointments and promotions.
Next.
Representation of Kenya's diverse communities, affording adequate and equal opportunities for appointment, training and advancement at all levels of public service of men and women.
I think
so you want to say that
equal opportunity?
No. Is there anywhere there where it is said, Kenyans of all diversity or all ethnic groups within the governing party? It is all Kenyans.
All Kenyans.
That is splitting hairs.
So don't say because...
But I understand your discomfort.
No, I'm not. I'm very comfortable.
I appreciate it.
Gentlemen, time for a short break. We are back in about 2 minutes with this discussion because we need to progress it also.
Yes,
right?
to the
Let's
next.
take the break.
Yes.